Hello, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel. And today we're just warming up after a hard frost. So just popped down to the plot to open up and take the fleece off the polytunnel and do a quick harvest because we're going to have a lot of rain over the next few days, so I'll probably not get down to the plot at all. Anyway, I'll show you quickly what we've picked and give you a quick skim around the plot, see what's up. So there's the tunnel, it's doing okay. This is what we've picked. So I picked those 4 salads, some really nice, I'm really happy with this purple sprouting broccoli. These are the first spears off some of the plants, so they're not the nicest looking, but they're lovely tasting. Some lovely kale, all sorts of different kales in there, and some more kale and some broccolini and stuff like that in there, and some lovely colettes and a few carrots. You can see probably there, look, some carrot root fly, but it's not too bad, most of the carrots are okay, and some, I call them black carrots to distinguish them from a carrot like summer purple, which is very purpley. This is kind of pretty close to black, but they are actually purple if you have a really close look. Start with a low light. Mouse at every single one of the peas that were just breaking surface in there. Actually most of them in these 2 survived. I'm going to start some at home as well, maybe not this week, maybe wait until next year, but anyway, still a few early peas. I'm not going to show you around the tunnel because pretty much everything in the tunnel is as it was last week or a couple of weeks ago. So I'll just show you a few of the outside beds, ones I've just started picking. So this is the winter miner's lettuce. It's a really nice addition to the salads in small quantities. I started picking a little bit of that, and also really happy now with this salad rocket outside. This is the first time I've picked from this bed. We've got plenty in the ground or not in other beds, but this is doing pretty well given it's outside. And these spring onions are looking really beautiful. So this is one of the salad beds that won't be harvested this year. It's just here for early spring stuff, and you can see in this bed down the centre here that I've lost quite a few plants, and I had these mottystone outside and these wouldn't have survived over winter, so I've moved them in here just to fill in the gap. I have a thick mulch of arborists' wood chippings on all of my paths, and I needed some mulch, so I just raked the top layer off, which was all the sort of bigger twigs, and just left all the nice fine stuff on the paths, which actually makes it much nicer for kneeling down on. And I've used all that as well as the leaves to mulch this raspberry bed, and then underneath the raspberry bed I've put some so underneath the mulch I put some well rotted manure as well, and some volcanic rock dust and a bit of general purpose fertiliser. So hopefully that's all done. So outside in my kind of woodland flower area, just against the green drive here, last year we had this Invincible pear tree and it died. Well, in fact it never came to life. And I bought it from Ken Muir, and they no quibble, they sent me another one, and so I've just got that planted. And I never heard of Invincible pear tree before, and to be honest I only bought it because I wanted a tree just to go into this position, and this was the only one they had in stock, and I wasn't so sure about it, but actually it sounds like it's a pretty interesting pear tree. It flowers twice, so even if your first flowering gets caught by the frost, the second flowering will almost certainly miss it, which means if you do actually get 2 sets of fruit set, you actually get a pretty long succession of fruit. And apparently the first one, can't remember which way around it is, but the first one's good I think for eating and the second one's good for cooking. So quite a flexible little tree, so I'm quite looking forward to that. And all of these trees down here have actually done pretty well. I've been quite pleased with them. They've grown on really strongly, so they seem to be getting enough light here, even though this fence faces north. and so everything's a bit shaded by the polytunnel. And I also put this cherry tree in, and this was such a tiny little thing when I put it in. It was only last year, and it's already grown quite substantially. So again, I'm pretty pleased with that. In fact, I'm pleased with all the trees. So the new water butts, 300 litre water butts that I put in, that one's full, and that one is nearly full. So quite pleased with that. By the end of this week, I think we'll be 100% full with water, and that's a good place to be at this time of year. Pop this little bucket in here for an overflow. And here's another probable failure. So this is a winter radish, and although the plants look quite healthy, they just don't look far enough on to produce anything remotely resembling a decent radish in these light levels that we're now, quotes, enjoying. So I think I'll probably end up eating the leaves rather than the radishes themselves, but I don't mind radish leaves, they're quite nice. And I've also just finished pruning the gooseberries, and I did have some problems with these with a mould mildew on them this year, so I've given them a lot of space, and hopefully they'll be okay. So anyway, we'll see how those go. And I'm just loving these shallots. I think they just look so gorgeous, and they're almost all up now, so I'm really pleased with that. Last year the shallots were a complete disaster. I can't remember exactly what happened to them. I think they kind of just all yeah, that's right, they all sprouted, so every bulb kind of sprouted. It was, I don't know, not very good anyway. They all went in the bin. So yeah, quite pleased with that. That's it for my plot. Not a lot going on. And Debbie's started a leaf bin, and each time I come down I bung a few more leaves in it, and it's about 60 degrees now, so I'm going to be plunging my hands in there to get them warm because they are freezing. And I've got 2 more bags. We do get leaves dropped off by the council, which is quite convenient, and I expect that both of those bags will eventually go in there and fill it up. In my last video I showed you these little sprout plants and purple sprouting broccoli plants that we got from the garden centre. You know, they were destined for the compost bin, but we saved them, and well, it'll be interesting to see whether we get anything off them, but looking pretty healthy here. And there's a couple more in that tunnel. The tunnel actually blew off in the wind, and so there was a bit of damage to a few of the things in there, but not too bad. I'll just have a quick look at Jennie's plot. A bit of damage from pigeons, so I've put up these, well, pigeon scarers, I suppose. And what they are mylar blankets that I use for other jobs on the allotment, and I just cut them into strips. You know, to be honest, it's not a great solution because the wind tends to cause them to rip a bit, but for now they seem to be doing their job. Next job on Jennie's plot is to get these trees pruned. You can see some of them, like that one, quite a tangled mess. The beans are finally up, so really pleased about that. It's always lovely to see new life bursting through at this time of year. Got 2 beds of broad beans, and the field beans are doing well. You always get one seems to grow like 2 or 3 times bigger than all the others. And almost all of the garlic and onions are now up, and the elephant garlic's all punching through nicely, so that's really encouraging. It's the first time I've ever grown elephant garlic, so I'm excited to see how that turns out. I think ready to take some of these dead leaves off these strawberry runners as well. I don't think they're adding any value. The new water butt on Jennie's plot is 2/3 full, so again, by the end of the week that will all be done. As I was doing this tour I realised I hadn't picked any spring onions, and so I think I'll pick them from this bed. And this is the first one that we're going to clear. And I've got to say, cleaning spring onions has probably got to be my least favourite harvesting job. But once they're done, they're just, I love them so much. They just add so much crunch to the salad mixes. I'll probably just show you these Romanesco cauliflowers as well, because I really didn't think I was going to get anything from them, given how late they were planted. But these in here, they're sort of showing signs now of, I've never grown them before, but it looks like they might actually be starting on the way to flowering. So if anybody's grown these Romanescos, what do they look like at this time of year? Do you reckon I might get a flower from those? I looked at my video from last year at this time of year. I looked at my overwintered Calabrese and they were tiny. They were like this big. So a third the size of these plants, and these are the smallest of the plants that I've got. So maybe these have just grown on a bit too well, and maybe I'll end up bolting. I've also got these which are much further on, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether I can actually bring these Calabrese to harvest. Yes, very interesting. And there's the spring onions in the salads. Don't they look much better for it? Well, and before I go, I thought I might just show you how well the hydrophilic coating works that I put on the coal frame. If I put that coating on, all the water would just be beading underneath and on top of the polythene. But as you can see, it's with the hydrophilic coating, it just creates a thin film across the whole of the lid. It's just a little thin film, and so it doesn't stop the light at all. And it used to be that the only way I could actually look inside these coal frames was to lift the lids up, but it's actually really easy to see inside them now, and you can see the same thing on these little hoop tunnels. You know, they just used to be completely opaque. So that's me done. I'm just going to warm my hands up in that leaf mould, or leaf compost bin, and yeah, so with that, that's the tour finished, or the video finished, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.